Chapter 4. What I'm going to be showing you tonight is what I call 100% all gems, all chapters showcase. Essentially, it is the entire game 100%ed, and so I will explain more about the game as we get going, but I figure we will get started and, you know, talk about a game as we go along. It is a real cool game. It is super chill. There is no content warnings I like to present because it is just a chill experience. So we will get going. As soon as I hit speedrun mode right here for chapter 1, we will not be done until I get every one of these gems in all 4 of the chapters. So time begins in 3, 2, 1, go! So, we are this cool little diver guy. We need to tether up to oxygen. We can control our vertical a little bit as we fall. We're going to grab these gems. We can also wall climb, wall grab. So this tether that keeps us to our oxygen, if we ever get separated from our tether, we can possibly suffocate. Suffocating is no good. Also, our tethers are limited. They can only go so far. So like right here, we're going to use it as a bungee cable of sorts to fling on up to our oxygen chamber. We are going to do a lot of things with physics like that. Also, I should probably add the tether actually has physics. So you'll notice it kind of flopping around. Each unit, each chain in it does its own special thing. That can actually affect your run. In fact, right there, it just caused me a little bit of a hiccup, but that's half the fun of speedrunning this game is you pretty much have a real cool, chill experience, but also it is a bit interesting for physics sake. So we just keep going along. We get power-ups. This here is the bubble. The bubble lets you jump. Also, the bubble will give you a few other abilities. You will see quite a few of them as we go along. In fact, you'll probably see more or less all of them because this is a 100% showcase. One of the abilities of bubble, ride up on a current. We are going to keep this bubble for as long as we can because we want to save a little bit of time in the next room. How do we save a little time? Well, normally we have to go down and grab the bubble in the lower left to grab this gem. Instead, we already had a bubble, so we did not have to go down there. We need to be very careful to not hit the spikes right there. Knock on wood. I mean, seriously, talking about we gotta be careful, and then I just hit it right then. The game is relatively simple in terms of controls. You have a jump button, you have movement, and that's almost all of it, except you do have, by the way, don't pop your bubble yet because we want to grab this, but pop your bubble before you hit those spikes up there. We also have a sacrifice button. Why do we have it? Sometimes you get tangled up. So right here, we need the yellow energy to activate that button. It'll turn on the door. We could untangle ourselves, or we could just go back to our checkpoint and not have to worry about it. We're going to do that again right here. Every time you die, it's all good. You just want to keep going. And so here we're going to activate another door with our electricity. The electricity of the yellow is very important, as we're going to learn in future chapters. It does a lot of real cool things. There is a way to come into this room with a bubble, keep the bubble all the way through. It's a little beyond me. It's one of the few things that previous speedrunners before this game kind of died would do. Unfortunately, I don't know how to do it because nobody's running this anymore. Did I mention I want more people run this game? I want people to appreciate how amazing this game experience is. We're going to hit that air cylinder, and then we are going to pretty much finish up chapter 1 after we do another death warp. Go down here, and below the ocean is air. Did you know below the ocean is air? And we're going to grab the treasure that makes up the first chapter's conclusion. And so once you see your guy fully faded in, that's when that category would end for chapter 100%. But little did you know, we are doing all of the chapters, 100% on all of them. Each one has some new music and some new ideas. And we are going to do that. If you didn't notice, I actually wall jumped off of that ledge after I let go of it. This game has unusual coyote jumps. If you were around yesterday for the King's Dungeon, I talked about coyote jumps. This game has some interesting ones. We're going to bop a turtle. Don't worry, the turtle is perfectly fine, but bopping that one turtle gives us a speed boost. Most turtle bopping will not do a speed boost. That one will, and we're going to take advantage of it and hope that turtle forgives us, because turtles are pretty cool little creatures. We go here, we grab this air bubble. We want to keep this air bubble. If we lose it, we are in trouble, because we are going to skip going up above and around that platform and use that air bubble go down below. This game has some great speed tech. You don't need to grab every air cylinder you come across. Some of them are just there for safety's sake, but kind of slow you down in the process. We're going to avoid these little crabs. They are not good news for us. So, secret, very secret. You can see there's a little twinkle up there. That's where the gem was. We're going to bop those hermit crabs a little. And right here, we are going to try to go as quick as possible. This is threading the needle right there. That is how you want to do it. You'll notice bopping these turtles, no speed boost. Like I said, not every turtle is a speed boost, but we still do have to bop a few, no matter how much we love our little turtle friends. Turtles are awesome. Nature is awesome. This game is a celebration of how cool it is, you know, to have that underwater aesthetics. Oh, I slightly misaimed that. So, I mentioned before about your tether having physics. My tether's physics is very much... Okay, I needed to die there. My tether was doing all sorts of physics back there, and they were not playing nice with me. Your tether... You might see it a little more obviously right here as I do some weird flopping around. Those tether physics are what really make speedrunning this game a lot of fun, because it is really unique. Blue bubbles you can use as kind of motorboats. We're going to use it fly up. We're going to hit that turtle so we could get that gem and not fall to our death in those spikes. If we died and had to reset that room, resetting that cycle would put the turtle in a bad place, and that bad place would leave us essentially waiting for a turtle. And we don't want to wait. We're speedrunning. We want to just keep moving as fast as possible. We could also stretch our tether, which I did right there. It couldn't reach that air cylinder. I suppose go for another one, but because I used this blue bubble's motor ability, I was able to continue through and just blast through. We are going to try something very dangerous the first time here, and we are going to reset. I tried doing something very unmarathon safe. Instead, we are going to go a little safer right here, because we need that gem. By the way, you notice my tether got cut by one of those devices. What does that do? It leaves you with 10 seconds before you suffocate. By the way, we're skipping most of this room because we had a blue bubble. Speed strats. So, controls can be a little tricky on this game. So speed strats on this are figuring out where you need to go versus where you don't need to go. We are going to go far left, counting on this hermit crab being on the left. This hermit crab, you'll notice, is shiny. Shiny, much like a gem. What does that mean? It means if we kill that hermit crab, we will find a gem in it. If you are electrified, like I am right now, you could kill fish, and we do that to open a door. We will kill this crab to open this door, and we will continue on our way. Getting near the end of chapter 2. Chapter 2 is one of the trickier chapters because it really does put you through a lot of unique situations. There is one more gem left in this chapter. We're going fling up. Keep this bubble. Keeping this bubble lets us fly this one. These containers that I tethered to, if you stretch them, you will fling off of them. This is where the final gem is for this chapter. We have a little puzzle right here where we need to get all the hermit crabs into their cage. How did I know that? Interpretation of the room. I forgot, we gotta go for that right there. So we are free, and now we could once again fling ourselves and get free, but don't go too far because those are spikes. Those spikes will hurt a lot. And we barely reached that air cylinder. That actually was very risky. I don't normally do that during speedrun events, but for this one, why not? Why not have a little fun, do a little riskiness, and just enjoy what we're doing. Let's go ahead and get electrified. By the way, those walls that have no texture, important thing about those walls, we need all of this electricity so we could kill these fish to open the door. If the walls are blank and have no texture, it pretty much means you cannot grab them, and that's going to come in to be very important coming up in additional chapters. I believe next chapter is where it really comes into effect. We are going to collect one more treasure, and that's it for chapter 2, 100%. And that's when time would be for chapter 2, but we've got 2 more chapters to go. This game is super chill. It's so much fun just picking up a single chapter play at a time. By the way, no game ever, definitely not Metroid all the way back then, has ever came up with the idea of going left to start. This game does. No, seriously, this is inspired by Metroid where you go left to start instead of going right. Grabbing 4 little pips will activate the detethering machine. Once again, we will grab 4 little pips. We don't need that air cylinder. That air cylinder is useless. Not useless, but we are speedrunning. We don't have time for going back for past air cylinders. We gotta keep moving forward, always forward. Brand new air cylinder. This thing turns you upside down and lets you control your floating up and down. You are weightless, and you could use that to break walls. We are going to go up here. So that ceiling up above, you'll notice a few of those bricks look weird. We grab this empty bottle and we could blast through. Sometimes you don't know what spaces you could break, like these right here. This is the most hidden secret in the game. Getting 100% sometimes is pretty tricky. Oh, I hit that jump button slightly off and lost a little momentum there. We're going to hit this and bust Oh. Controls can be a little finicky in this game, but we will bust through, grab these pips, and we are about to enter another room where we take an intentional death because we are way too tangled up at the end of this. We need to hit that button in the upper corner. How do we hit it? Very carefully. Like that, and now we're tangled up, so we will death abuse, go back to checkpoint, and not have to worry about detangling. We will use the physics of our tether to open that switch. We have to hit all of these buttons, and our tether is a great thing to hold those buttons down. This one in particular is a trickier puzzle, but don't worry, we've got the speedrun strats for it. And now we will grab this gem, run over here, avoid that crab because that crab is a crabby crab. We will go down here. We don't need to go down here for any percent, but for 100%, you better believe we need to go down here because there is a gem. We are going to wait for the crabs just a little. Oh boy. So I hit a little physics snafu, so we will grab safety air right there. If you do it right, you don't need that safety air, and this bubble will refresh your air supply. Brand new mechanic, flinging ourselves into these shooting majigs. They break our tether if we go into one of those tether breaking machines. We're going to grab another pip, and that'll activate another tether breaker. We just want to keep going through this room, break those, and we are coming into a really unique space. Remember, I mentioned hollow walls cannot be grabbed. If you do not have this bubble, you cannot get out from here because those walls are hollow and are not grabbable. Speaking of grabbable, we have new friends. We're going to take a quick death to reset the cycle in this room. By resetting the cycle, we could jump over that guy and not waste time waiting for him. If we didn't reset the cycle, we'd actually have to wait a few seconds. So I said, speaking of grabbers, here are some grabber claws. They will keep you tethered. Avoid that bounce pad. It'll fling you into those spikes. You don't need those spikes. Spikes are bad for you. And we will avoid that guy right there. Oh, I was forgetting for a second where I really was and what I was doing. So we will go here, be grabbed, jump, be grabbed, and continue on to the next room. These grabber claws are great at keeping you safe, but they can also fling you into these jellyfish, so you really have to be on your toes and ready to react to whatever physics conundrum they put you through. And now we are going to try to avoid some air canisters as best we can, like this. Oh, sadly that grabber claw grabbed me. Ideally we would have avoided it, hooked up to that cylinder without having break free, and it would have saved us a little time. There is a gem up there, you probably notice it, but we can't grab it while we're tethered, so we need to do some dangerous untethered action. Get grabbed, we are good to go. And there we go, we are on our way. 8 out of 9, we are almost done with 100%ing this chapter. And this is one of the trickiest speedrun moves in the game because that claw can miss you. I'm going to take the marathon safety at this point. The marathon safety, we grab that. Unfortunately, those claws, they want to grab you, but they can be a little slow on the uptake. And if they are slow, bad news, you will end up being bopped. Speaking of being bopped, we are going to bop some ceiling right here and continue on. And we are going to do a ton of death abuse, of checkpoint abuse in this room. So we need to grab 4 pips, but we want to go as quick as possible. You keep a pip if you do die and reset. And a lot of times it is quicker to die and reset than going back to where you came from. Oh, and there we go. And we need to go up here, open that door switch. Unfortunately, my timing fell a little behind, so we had to wait for our jellyfish friend to not kill us, because that'd be bad. We will be hooked up to another one right here, hit the shooter, go through here, bounce, open the door. We don't need that air cylinder. And this is another room with a series of buttons to hold down with our tether. We get the shine spark, as I like to call it, being yellow and energized. Until it gets back to us, we do not want to rush through. And then we just need these. Oh, I missed that one. The controls are really good in this game, but they are also finicky at the same time. So sometimes you miss things just barely. We now have the shield, and that is chapter 3, 100%. We have one more chapter to go. Or I guess not a shield, but a crest. I always think of it as a shield. So we've got one last chapter to go. This one introduces some cool things. You can go left to start. You will not get anywhere good. Oh. There we go. Controls can be a little finicky on this game. We are going to stretch our tether using these new bubbles. These new bubbles are just like those old blue bubbles, but extra speedy. So they will stretch your tether extra. They are very, very powerful. They're pretty much motorboat engines. And if you hit an enemy, you get to keep it. So you could keep that shine spark going as long as you keep hitting things to hurt them. We energize that to open this door switch. Avoid that air bubble. If you try and shine spark through that air bubble, bad things happen, namely your bubble disappears. So why do we hit enemies, keep it going? For that reason. This room has 2 gems in it. We want to be very smart about getting them. By the way, you don't need to dash into enemies to kill them with the yellow shine spark, as long as you just touch them. I did not mean right there to get rid of my shine spark. Doing that put me in a bad place. All right, there we go. We got the second gem for the room. We are just going to fling through here, stretch out to that, fall down here. Oh, and I lost my shine spark somehow because I hit the fish with it. I'm not sure why it disappeared, but it's all good. These blue spikes that shoot at you, good news. You could kill them with the shine spark, which is good because notice that one on the left is shiny, is sparkling. It had a gem in it. We also need to grab the shine spark here, and we could soft lock out from 100%. Right here if we lose this shine spark, because we need to go here and do that. If we lose our shine spark, we restart in this room without it, and we can never grab that gem again unless we reset the run. It is without a doubt the hardest trick of this entire run. By the way, another new mechanic, we could tether up to these blocks. They do have physics. We are going to take advantage of those physics. In particular, grab the back one here, keep pushing, 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 and let go of it. If we did this right, we could jump up here without having set a second one wherever it needed to go. And then we will go over here. And we don't really need this block as much as we needed to have it help us grab that gem. If we hit these shields with the shine spark, shields, target, whatever you want to call them, it will let us keep it. We're going once again face, oh, my controls. So controls get a little sticky from time to time, and they got a little sticky there, which was bad news all around. We grab the gem. Door is open. Doesn't matter if we died again right there. All is good. Hit that button to open the door, and we continue on. Oh, I accidentally forgot entirely what I was doing there. That was kind of silly. So we continue on in this room where we are going to try to... If you stretch right, you could grab that air cylinder without needing that intermediary one. Unfortunately, I did not grab right, so... We go over here, avoid the spike. What spike? That spike. It's good knowing what is coming up ahead. Do a little jump, go under that air bubble, because if you hit that air bubble, you are going to lose all your momentum and fall down to the spikes below. And we are getting close to the end. We will hook up to this. This serves as an air supply while also serving as a spring pad right here to grab that. And we will grab this over here. It shows no sign of being electrified, but it is. And we will continue on. I call this Indiana Jones Room Part 2. The previous one of where I could have missed the gem if I didn't have a shine spark, I think of as an Indiana Jones type escape. That last room was a lot like one too, where a bunch of spikes are shooting at you and you just have to avoid them and survive. Final new enemy type. These guys explode and shoot off little bullets. We want to avoid being killed by the bullets, most obviously. And that is not avoiding the bullets. This room does not reset its cycle if you die. So if you die, pretty much you have to be on your toes and ready, know how to respond. We need to get rid of these guys. But anytime you kill those big guys, it will destroy your shine spark. Destroying your shine spark requires you wait for it to recharge. The little bullets do not hit the shine spark, so you're good with them. And we are almost done. We are pretty much done right here, my friends. So we're going down here, and time is coming up as we grab this last treasure and then fade into reality in 3, 2, 1. It's hard to count that one. Time. So that there is Below the Ocean. 100% all gems, all chapters showcase. It's a showcase of 4 different categories, of which nobody runs them because the game pretty much died on SRC. So if you want to run this game, you could find it on itch. You could find it on Steam. It is really affordable. It is not expensive, and it is, quite frankly, amazing. I love this game. It is one of the most chill experiences. The music is chill. The game itself is chill. Playing it casually is chill. Speedrunning it is chill. It is fantastic. I really want more people run it because it is one of my favorite games. Ishmael Rodriguez is a brilliant game developer, makes a lot of games that have this type of feel. So consider giving it a shot. I am going to be taking off, have my dinner time about now, and I believe Kefka 14 is up next with a little Doraemon 3. I'm probably mispronouncing that. I cannot pronounce it. Worth a heck. Doraemon 3 Nobita no Machi SOS. But I am going to be back after that with what I think is should be the worst game of this marathon, but it's worst in its best way. So stick around and hang out for this because this whole marathon is fantastic.